If you had one mic, one opportunity,
One
to
chance.
use everything you ever wanted,
I would blew that. I
or whatever he says. No, you did it right, I think.
One opportunity.
Yes.
To seize everything you ever wanted.
Would you
One
capture
moment.
it?
Would you capture it?
Or just let it slip?
Palms are sweaty.
Mine actually are.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Mine actually
Don't
are.
Shake my hand.
I'm a little clammy.
Always. It is a little warm in here, but we'll get through it.
This room is the most warm room I've ever been in my life.
Plus two warm guys, or two bigger guys.
Warm guys.
You
That's
know.
fine. We'll say warm.
We'll say warm.
We're not
It'll be
hot.
nice.
We're warm guys.
Well, I'll give it to you, but I was gonna. I might be.
You dabbed me.
I give it to you.
What up, guys? It's Watch the Throne episode. I think this is episode 7. You missed one.
6.
Yeah, you missed one.
Did.
Episode 7.
Is this 7?
It's 7. Yeah.
Did we do 2 before the season started?
We did 3 before the season started.
3?
Yep.
Then do preview week 1, week 2. This is 6.
Hang on.
We gotta
Hang
confirm that. 6 or 7.
I've saved all the episodes.
Let's see them. Because I want to say 6, but you might be right. I did miss 1. I do know that. But you might be right. How many you got? Let's see. Open that.
Episodes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So you're
this
right.
will be 7.
Okay.
Look at the organization.
Look at you.
Look at the organization. And it has titles.
I know you don't want me to shine, but I'm going to shine anyway, because I love me. Believe it.
I mean, you know Ray works for them already.
Yeah,
too, so.
I knew that.
Weird flex, soft flex.
Well, he's not going to the game this week. He's going to L.A.
He'll be at the
watch his Niners.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Our Niners.
Hey, I went last year, Cowboys-Chargers game. Stadium's beautiful.
Yeah, I believe
so
it.
I'm
I
going
haven't
to
been.
give him a couple pointers when he goes. If he's never been.
I haven't been. I don't know if he has.
SoFi's nice. So
yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of Cowboy Stadium.
Okay, yeah.
Built kind of similar, but very nice stadium.
Have you been to Allegiant yet?
Yes, but not for a football game. Well, okay. I went for the Pro Bowl games, was it 2 years ago now?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
So I went for the Pro Bowl games, but that was it.
So you haven't had the NFL experience?
No, I have not.
Or college? You haven't went to a UNLV game?
No, but I want to. Now they're ranked now.
I know.
Gotta go now.
All of a sudden they're good.
Bold prediction from my friend. They make the college football playoff.
I saw someone said that on ESPN too as their bold prediction.
He was talking about it. Yeah, but you know who I'm talking. Our boy AJ.
AJ.
Shout out to AJ.
I can't believe we're talking positive about UNLV as I got a Wolfpack polo on.
Love it.
What do you mean? Go Pack go. Go Pack go.
And cut.
Go Pack go.
And podcast. What are we doing? Shout out actually. I know wide receiver on UNLV. My friend I played with for flag football, his son is on the team.
Nice.
So, Trey, shout out to you and UNLV, number 81. Keep it pushing.
Good luck, Trey. News and notes and preview of Week 3 matchups. We're going to try to get through all of them. You see them at the bottom. We highlighted some major ones. Going to try to get through all of them. We like to talk.
We do.
And we are down 1. We mentioned Ray isn't here, so it's only 2 of us talking. But we talk, man.
But, we're here, and there's no, weird pause between, the internet connection. I think it's going to be smooth, but we'll miss Ray. Shout out to Ray. Get better soon. We'll see you next week, though.
I already miss Ray.
I do, too, man. I do, too. He makes the show definitely better.
Flows. He helps the flow.
He definitely.
Deebo Samuel did not participate in Wednesday's practice.
Shocker.
But it was expected.
Yeah.
Right? He's expected to miss. It says Samuel is expected to miss a few weeks due to a calf strain. No surprise that he did not practice. He can safely be put on fantasy injured reserve spots for a couple weeks, if you're in a week that allows that. Though the 49ers are not putting him on the actual IR for the time being.
That's good news. So he's going to miss. It says a couple weeks. You're hoping it's maximum 3 since he's going to not be on the IR. It's huge for the Niners. Jawan Jennings, interesting name. Here's a question for you as a Niners fan. What's Ricky Purcell's timeline? Is he out for a while still? Is there no talks about him coming back? It'd be interesting if he came back around this time.
He's still on that, it's not the PUP list. It's the NFI list, non-football injury list. He's still on that list. I'm not sure what the timeline is, to be honest. I mean, the dude got shot. I've never been shot, so I don't know how quick I would come back.
Brian Robinson Jr. got shot. He missed 2 games. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he was shot. Was that it? It was just 2 games. Like he was just out 2 weeks, or was it like actual?
If I remember correctly, and if I'm wrong, I apologize respectfully.
Roast him in the comments. Roast him.
Give it to me. I think Brian Robinson's kind of was like I forget, like he kind of nicked him. It didn't really go through like a hole or artery or a bone. Ricky Purcell got shot in the chest.
He got shot.
Yeah, he's got a hole in his chest right now, so it's definitely different for sure.
He got shot.
I just, I've personally never been shot. Knock on wood.
I think Juwan Jennings right now is the guy you want to pick up in absence of Debo. I'm not sure Purcell's even going to play while Debo's out, so I think it's Juwan Jennings is the guy to pick up. And Jennings already had a role with healthy Debo because Ayuk has been slowly coming back, right? Yeah. Jennings he's looked good week 1 especially. The whole team looked pretty good week 1, minus Ayuk. Week 2, it wasn't as good. Yeah. It wasn't as good looking for the Niners with Debo out, getting hurt, and CMC obviously out. But Juwan is a good pickup.
Can't put a better opponent than the Rams, too, to warm up without Debo for game 1, so we'll preview that one later. I have a surprise for something.
Speaking of Rams, how about their best receiver?
Poor Rams.
Or it depends on who you ask. Was Puka the best receiver or Cooper Kupp the best receiver? Remember in my rankings, I had him flipped.
I had Puka higher ranked for fantasy purposes. Sure. If we're talking, but I like Cooper Kupp better.
Yeah. I think Coop got kind of just forgotten about last year, and the rise of Puka was really exciting for everyone.
Coming back from injury too. Cooper Kupp had a rough time.
Yep. So I think, he missed practice today. I'm going to read it. As expected, Coop did not participate in practice after suffering an ankle injury in week 2. The Rams currently do not anticipate placing him on injured reserve, though he will be out an extended period of time. He will miss week 3, and later updates could give a clearer view of his recovery timeline.
So again, more good news, hopefully, as of Wednesday. Hopefully he's not put on IR. You hope he's maximum out 3 games. So here's the thing I will let people know if you're new to it. The IR spot, the teams will not you don't really have to put someone on IR until about Saturday. So they will wait until Saturday afternoon to put a guy on the IR spot. So keep an eye out on Debo, keep an eye out on Cooper Kupp. They're going to get as much testing as they can. They're going to get as much doctor's opinions as they can just to see what the timeline is. Fingers crossed. You never want to see any of these guys hurt and stay out long, especially if you own them in some fantasy teams. I think it sounds like everything's positive right now, but keep an eye out on Saturday.
Couple Seahawks that did not practice today. DK Metcalf pops up with a hand injury out of nowhere, did not practice. Kenneth Walker III also did not practice. Walker missed week 2 with the oblique injury, right?
Yeah, and I wanted to look up DK real quick because that was a surprise. That one just came out of left field. But everything I'm seeing right now is nothing seems to be too serious. And again, we talked about this last week. Wednesday could be a rest day. Yep. He might have injured it a little bit in the game, and we just don't know. But it might not affect him.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it's going to be. I mean, hand injury. Most guys can play through something. I mean, if it's let's say it's a finger or even just a mid hand, they'll just tape it up. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
I mean, you saw Justin Herbert was out there with a left club on his hand, right? So I think DK. I'm sure he's a tough dude. I'm sure he'll be out there.
I think he'll be out there. Yeah. Nothing too scary to come out on him. Kenneth Walker III, though, that's a scary one. That one actually, he might be out this week. Again, he wasn't placed on IR, so again, maximum maybe 2 more weeks. But this is a guy you invested pretty high in 3rd round, 4th round at the latest that you invested in. He had a good week 1. So if you have Kenneth Walker, you just throw him on IR. You hope he gets back sooner rather than later. You hope he just misses maybe 1 more game. So it might be another Zach Charbonnet game this week.
Zach Champagne. Nico Collins did not practice today. Yeah. Hip and foot, but he's expected to play week 3 against the Vikings. I think this is just a rest day for the clear alpha in Houston.
So him, DK, we'll talk about CD here in a minute. When you don't hear an injury out, like when they don't come out of it Monday morning or Monday afternoon when those reports come out, like when we know a guy gets hurt in the game, I think these are more little injuries that they're just taking care of, taking a rest day on Wednesday. I think most of these guys, like Nico, DK, and CD, I think we'll probably see a limited tomorrow. They'll get back into the rhythm of things. Again, Wednesday's just a weird day, so Don't freak out. I know everyone, like, I say don't freak out, and I freaked out when I saw someone on the injury report earlier. I'm like, what? He didn't practice today? What's going on? What do I do? So try not to freak out. Try to just be prepared. Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, no, Thursday practice is important. Friday is super important.
Friday's the most important.
If they're limited on Thursday, that means they're trending in the right direction. If they didn't practice on... Or sorry, did I say that correctly?
Yeah. If they limited on Thursday and didn't practice on Wednesday.
Yeah, and then they go full go Friday, then they're they're suiting up on
or
Sunday.
even a limited too. They're probably fine.
Yeah. A.J. Brown did not practice, and I think he self-reported that he expects to miss at least a couple weeks.
Yeah, from what I heard and saw, it looks like A.J. Brown out a couple weeks. Expected to miss a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And probably not another one that's going on the IR. It's the one that fantasy owners never want to hear is the hamstring, because those can linger. Those can always come back. Those soft tissue injuries are the worst. Hopefully he gets over it. Hopefully it's gone by another game or two. But I think he'll be okay in the long run. Obviously, you're not freaking out about A.J. Brown. He was another one that had a solid outing on week 1, if I'm not mistaken. He had against the Packers. Yeah, he had a good game. So don't freak out. It sucks that it kind of happened like Saturday at practice, it sounds like, and then he was just. At least they announced it on Sunday. They didn't pull a Christian McCaffrey situation where, he's inactive all of a sudden.
Oh Lord!
Thanks, guys. So at least they gave everyone time to prepare.
CeeDee Lamb, the person you freaked out about being on the injury report, did not practice today. The severity of his ankle issue is unclear at this time, though a do not practice to start the week is never a good thing. Lamb is a veteran at this point in his career and doesn't need a full week of practice. We'll see. We will see.
So I did read that he is nothing to be concerned about. It does seem like it's minor. Again, let's just keep an eye on it tomorrow. But when I saw CeeDee Lamb as a Cowboy fan, I said, oh boy, here we go.
Grab Jalen Tolbert.
Absolutely.
I've grabbed him in so many spots, even before this news came out.
He balled out on Sunday.
I don't know why I'm a bit. I think Tolbert's gonna overstep Brandon Cooks at some point this season.
Tolbert will be. He could be the wide receiver 2 in our offense. Definitely down the road, I could see that happening. Brandon Cooks I love Brandon Cooks, but he's just that veteran wide receiver there. So hopefully Tolbert does step up.
Man, I love watching Brandon Cooks his whole career though. When he first came in the league and stuff, he's a small dude who just dominates.
Balls out.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan.
Yep. I liked him in college too. Last one. I know we were supposed to end on CeeDee Lamb. Sorry, we didn't. I'm sorry we did. I'm sorry. Isaiah Pacheco out 6 to 8 weeks.
That's the big one, and I know it's Wednesday, so everyone's waiver wire's done. I know the Carson Steele was the big name that everyone wanted. I was actually the Samaje Perine fan, so I actually ended up with Samaje Perine in a couple of my leagues. For Fab, we have it in our Yahoo league, and I ended up bidding $20 on Samaje, and it sounds like it might have been a little too much, but this is how much I believe in Samaje. We saw it last year in Denver where he can be a focal point for a little, he can get 15 touches a game, including catches. He can catch out the backfield. Carson Steele might be the goal line back, but I wouldn't be surprised if they leave Samaje Perine in there. It's going to be a committee. Then you got Kareem Hunt coming in. Mm-hmm. It's going to be confusing for the next few weeks. I'm just hoping to carry Perine for the next couple weeks, and I only picked him up because in the 2 leagues I needed him in, Tyjae Spears was my RB 2-1. And then I had Christian McCaffrey in the other one, and I started Zeke this past week against this guy. So I was needing a running back, too, at least for the next few weeks.
I forget who won our matchup, but we'll probably talk about it later, maybe.
Of course you forgot.
Rappaport does report, though, that there was no complications or ligament issues.
Good news.
With Pacheco. But 6 to 8 weeks is the timeline for a fractured fibula. That's not a small injury.
It's not. That's actually kind of similar to what Tony Pollard had. It doesn't sound like it's a full break. I want to say Pollard also had a torn ligament in his knee. Mm-hmm. So that's the good news here. There's no torn ligament. It's just the bone. That's good news, actually. So I think when he comes back, he'll be able to bounce back pretty quickly.
That's not took a but to not. My bad.
Shout out Big Sean. I'm trying to go see him on Saturday, actually.
Is he here?
iHeartRadio. Yeah, on Saturday.
Yeah,
trying to go.
One of my friends actually won tickets to it.
Tell him to hook me up.
She's very lucky. I know.
I'm looking into it still.
Yeah, I'm wondering how much they are.
Big Sean. And one of my guilty pleasures, The Weeknd. Huge Weeknd fan.
What do you mean? You
Love
don't got to
The
be
Weeknd.
guilty about it. He's incredible.
He's super incredible.
so
He's one of
good.
my favorite artists of all time.
Yeah,
So
yeah. You don't
shout
gotta
out The
be guilty.
Weeknd. Shout out to Abel.
Do you know how to spell weekend?
Yes.
His way?
Yes. Don't come on, bro. Don't
Alright, my bad.
Like I said, I'm a big fan.
My bad, bro. My bad.
Come on now. I gotta have a karaoke session with The Weeknd alone. Like just his songs, all his songs.
He's a great artist.
Love The Weeknd.
Let's start with Week 3 matchup previews, and we'll start with Thursday night football. Are you even going to watch this game?
I watch every game.
Versus Jets.
If you know me, I'm a football junkie, so I watch every game. While I'm not like crazy about it, I'll have action on the game. We're in Vegas. I gotta bet it.
Yeah.
I have action. I'm in 6 leagues. We're in 6 leagues. You're in 6
I'm
leagues.
in
right?
5.
5. Okay. I'm in 6 leagues. He's in 5 leagues. I have action all over the place. I got Garrett Wilson in a league. I'm going against Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson in a couple leagues. I got action everywhere. I got the Jets defense in a couple leagues.
You know, that's a good pick this week.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I have any player on either of those teams on any of my 5 spots.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I lie. I picked up Braylon Allen in a few spots, and I have Braylon Allen in my Dynasty League.
Good pickup.
He went off for 21 on my Taxi spot in the Dynasty League, but I'm not mad at it. Not at all. Braylon Allen I think he's dope. So
he's definitely worth stashing.
I mean, he's not going to overtake Breece.
No.
But he's
2 touchdowns on
carving
Sunday.
out a role, right? So
I mean, he might carve him a role just to spell out Breece Hall.
yeah.
I mean, in this game, it's going to be a defensive game. You expect like a 16-10 kind of ball game. You're going to start Breece Hall. You're going to start Garrett Wilson. You're going to start your studs. Both defenses is a good flex play, or not flex play, but play of the week if you need to pick up a defense for the
nice
week.
stream play.
Stream play, thank you. Those are good options. Other than that, maybe Hunter Henry if you're really desperate at tight end. But other than that,
So my start of the week, Jacoby Brissett.
no.
No.
But my bad for the disrespect to a Vegas local, Ramondre Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
That's a start. He's actually been surprising these first couple games. He's RB10 right now.
I mean, he gets the rock. You know what I mean? And fantasy, when it comes to running backs, is opportunity based, and he definitely gets the opportunities.
It frustrates me too when we look into it now. It's like Ramondre Stevenson. The Patriots are going to be a defensive team. The quarterback's not there yet. You're going to be a running team.
Yep.
So you're going to he's going to get the rock, like you mentioned. He's going to get carries. He's going to get touches. It frustrates me now looking back into it. Like I should have had Ramondre Stevenson a little higher.
Yeah, me too. I think, like we just said, it's an opportunity position, running back.
Mm-hmm.
25 carries week 1, 21 carries week 2, and a touchdown in each of those. And that's just rushing attempts. I'm sure he caught some balls out of the backfield. So,
and the Jets' rushing defense has not been great the first 2 games.
Right. So Jordan Mason gashed him.
Jordan Mason, Tony Pollard had a solid game too.
Yeah, and so I'm kind of kicking myself for not having him ranked higher too. He had 3 receptions in week 1 and 2 receptions in week 2. So we all knew too. I think that's what's making us the most upset is that we all knew that Ramondre was going to be the guy that was the workhorse there. And we just straight ignored him.
We should have had him ranked higher. And I think
it's from Vegas.
And he's from Vegas. That's another sad thing. I do want a quick second on. Let me ask you. So you don't have any Jets players. You said
Correct.
Are you worried about Garrett Wilson? And if someone offers you a Garrett Wilson trade, how interested are you?
I would. If someone offered me a Garrett Wilson trade, they're probably hoping to sell while his value is up. So I would be looking to buy low, right? On him. So they would probably offer me Garrett Wilson for, let's just say they took Garrett Wilson in the 2nd round, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they try to offer him for my 2nd round pick, whoever it would be. I would probably counter with like I'd look at their roster, right? But I would counter with like an RB2.
Yeah.
To try to get Garrett Wilson, who's been a wide receiver 3 this year, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably best in the flex right now.
Yeah. So, I would probably try to counter with an RB2 or even like a low end flex guy on my roster, and so I'm not very interested in it, I guess.
He would have been a good panic or patience as well. I think by the end of the season, I think he'll kind of pick it up because this talent's there. Mm-hmm. Rodgers is still kind of finding a rhythm. I think it'll happen over time. Plus, they're playing some tough defenses, and they actually have a tough schedule coming up too. So it's going to take time. Probably in a few weeks, it might be a good time to buy low on Garrett Wilson.
it's tough because Rodgers is there.
Yeah.
And when you watch him, he can still sling it.
He can throw the ball.
But like you said, he's finding his way back into the game a little bit.
And Garrett Wilson's going to be he's the number one. He's really the only receiver option they have. That's legitimate. That scares you.
I hate the way he wears his jersey. So I don't want him on my team. Don't want him on my team. He looks. I don't know what he looks like. Looks like your cousin out there playing in a pickup football. I don't know, man. Tuck the sleeves, bro. What are you doing?
Fair enough.
How about we go from one doozy of a game to another? Giants, Browns. Let's try to not spend as much time on the Giants, Browns as we did.
That's fair. The only one, I think you're going to start your Browns, Jerome Ford. Deshaun Watson actually might be a good play here, too, if you need a quarterback. If you had Tua, possibly in a deeper league. I pulled up Amari Cooper, because this is going to say a lot about Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has 5 catches for 27 yards in 2 games. He has been horrendous. And this is a guy you drafted to probably be your wide receiver 2 or flex. He has to have a game against the Giants. The Giants, terrible defense. If he does not have at least 15 points, to me, you might want to sell on Amari Cooper. If you could even do that, you're definitely going to I think you bench him for sure. But if you cannot get, if Amari Cooper doesn't have a good game, you might want to jump out that bandwagon.
Jerome Ford, for some reason, only saw 8 touches against the Jaguars. You mentioned his name. Mm-hmm. I'm happy you did because I kind of wanted to talk about it. He only had 8 touches against the Jaguars. 7 carries, okay?
Mm-hmm.
64 yards. 9.1 yards a touch. And you only give him the rock 7 times, and then he has 1 catch. But then you give the ball, you hand it off to Donta Foreman 14 times for 42 yards. 3 yards per carry versus 9.1 yards per carry, and you double the carries on the guy that averaged 6 yards less a touch.
So real quick, I'm gonna make a quick joke.
Did Jerome Ford get hurt? I didn't watch the game.
No. Deontay Foreman actually started in the game. He was in the first series.
So what are we doing?
It's funny because when I saw Deontay Foreman, I go, is Kareem Hunt still in in Cleveland? Because he had the dreads and number 27. And I go, is that Kareem Hunt?
Yeah.
And come to find out, it was Deontay Foreman. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of scary. It's kind of because now you don't know who to trust. And I know I said Jerome Ford, and he should be the starter. But you bring up a good point where Deontay Foreman out-carried Jerome Ford.
He doubled up his attempts.
It might just be a backfield we want to avoid. And, Jerome Ford, you drafted Jerome Ford to be probably a RB4, maybe a flex if it's that low. But I would like to see more and see what's going to happen this week. I think this week will be a telling sign. I think they both can have good games because the game script, they should win this game. And they should be up pretty favorably. They should both costly get 10 to 15 carries, so there's plenty of touches to go around. But it is going to be interesting to see who is the RB1 in Cleveland.
One guy averaged 9 yards per carry, the other averaged 3.
I hate when they do that too.
That's so weird to me.
It's annoying.
I don't get it.
It's very annoying.
Giant side of the football. Daniel Jones, obviously a must start.
Oh man! I thought you were really gonna say it.
Bad.
I was like, just say Malik Neighbors, move on. Boom,
Danny
that's it.
Dimes is Danny Pennies.
He's so
bad. Devin Singletary, though. Let's talk Devin Singletary really quick. Malik Neighbors is an obvious must start. I think that goes without question. He went ham last week. Good for Malik Neighbors. Dude is dope.
It might be a little tougher matchup, but don't expect as much good of a game. But
correct. The Browns' defense is very.
But you got to start him.
Devin Singletary. A lot of people, depending on the strategy, and I'm one of them, waited and took Devin Singletary as like an RB2. Is it the same range as Devin Singletary, Javonte Williams, those dudes? He's been okay. He's got a touchdown. He had 16 carries for 95 yards and a touchdown last time out.
Oh, he balled out in Washington.
Yes. And then the Minnesota game, he had 10 carries for 37 yards. I believe he had a catch or 2. He had 4 catches for 15, so he saved his day a little bit in PPR with those 4 catches. But that's the Browns' defense. Are you starting him? Do you have to start him because of the injuries that are happening already to the running backs in the league?
You might have to, and I would say if you have a better option, look around to not starting Devin Singletary. Cleveland's defense has been solid. I mean, in the rush defense, Cowboys week 1 didn't have a good game. Travis Etienne didn't have a great game this past week. So their defense has still been solid, except for against the Cowboys for a couple drives. I would try to avoid anyone. The only one I would really, really start is the mid-league neighbors. I think there's other options that I would rather go with than Devin Singletary. I actually saw Devin Singletary get dropped in one of my leagues today.
That's wild. Pick him up.
I'm going to look into that.
Definitely
got to look into that.
Yeah.
So there's other options I would go. If I'm doing like a ranking off the top of my head, he's probably like around RB 30.
Let me give you this or that really quick. Him or him?
Let's go.
Him or him?
Let's do it.
Devin Singletary or Javonte Williams in the flex? These are all going to be flex plays, flex questions.
Oh, man. I guess Javonte.
Okay. Singletary or DeAndre Swift?
Oof. DeAndre Swift.
Okay. Swift's been bad. We'll get to him next.
Yeah,
That's going to be the next game we call.
I think I'm just looking at the matchup, too.
Right. Singletary or we mentioned him earlier, Garrett Wilson.
Oh, my gosh. Just based off principle alone, I'm starting Garrett Wilson
of
just
course.
because
Yep.
he's the
Okay.
stud.
Yep. Okay. Last one then. Let's say you had Joe Mixon in your lineup, and he's hurt, right?
Ooh, okay.
And you have Singletary that's on your bench, and you had to put your flex guy into your RB2 spot. Okay, I'm getting real specific here.
You're getting there.
Are you going to play Cam Akers or another Houston running back if you're able to pick him up over Devin Singletary, or are you going to play Singletary?
Oh my gosh. That's a good one. I like that. I'd probably go Cam Akers. Cam Akers actually looked solid last week.
Wow, I mean, Cam Akers is awesome.
He actually ran the ball pretty well against a good Chicago defense.
I see why you're not playing Singletary. It's the Giants' offense against the Browns' defense. They're awful.
Singletary to me is going to be
awful.
a week-by-week matchup-based kind of guy. You
I
can't
don't
play
mind
him
that.
every week.
I don't mind that. Okay, with that said, I'm probably starting Singletary at least in one of my leagues because I kind of have to.
He's going to blow up.
Moving on, Eagles-Saints. This game, it's one of them that we highlighted on the graphic there. It's the first Sunday game that we have Eagles-Saints. Dude.
Fantasy matchup of the week.
I think
at least the morning game.
Close. Yes.
We should have like a cool sound,
Yeah,
anyway,
yes.
Sorry.
Yes, we should.
Sorry. But anyways. There's a lot of people you're starting. Derrick Carr was a popular pickup.
Mm-hmm.
Alvin Kamara is RB1. I mean, he's killing it right now. I'm not trying to rub it in. You know what's funny? I do want to bring that up. You called that.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't end up. Well, I mean, the 2 leagues that we're in.
Nope.
You didn't get them, and you had a chance.
I know.
And I really thought you were going to get Kamara.
Because you really, really didn't like him, and I was like, man, what if Gabe is right? I have him in my dynasty, and I'm loving it. I start him every week.
He's killing it. This is one I will admit you were right, and I was wrong.
But see, and I haven't even tried to like ride the Kamara train because I don't know. I just haven't.
You think
really...
it fades away maybe towards the end?
No, I don't. I think he's. I don't know what the hell that was last year. I think weird with the whole like. It wasn't last year where the suspension was looming and all that off-field trouble and stuff. I think whatever that was last year affected his play quite a bit.
And I'll say real quick, for me, it was
Carr wasn't as good either last year.
No, Carr was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was the yards per carry. And shout out to Clint Kubiak, who's the new offense coordinator for the Saints. He's turned this offense around, son of Gary Kubiak. So he's really turned the offense around. He's made them viable. For me, it was just Alvin Kamara. I heard the crazy stat. RB2 from like week 5 to 17, which is insane because he didn't make a bunch of noise. Like nobody was like, "Ooh, Kamara."
In PPR leagues.
In PPR leagues, correct. Full point PPRs. Yeah. He was RB2 and he killed it. And I looked and I was like, he's absolutely right. I didn't even know that. And so when you brought that stat to me, I said, wow, he is actually...
You said, wow, I'm drafting him.
I said, I got to move him up because I disrespected him a little bit.
Yeah.
And then now he's getting the touchdowns. Now he's getting the carries. So that was my big thing with him last year. He just wasn't getting the carries and it was just frustrating. But now this offense is flowing. They haven't punted yet this year. They've scored on every offensive possession. They've been very, very impressive so far in the first 2 weeks. So, Carr, Kamara, you're going to Olave.
Yep.
Are you starting with Shaheed?
Yes.
In your flex?
At this point, yes, you have to.
I do love Shaheed. I think he does get a big one against the Eagles.
Yep.
He's going to be one. He's relying on the big play.
He's boom bust. He's like Alec Pierce in Indy. Yeah.
Correct.
But with a better quarterback attached to him.
But if you don't have better options in the flex, you got to start him.
Well, and you also got to think that this game, matchup-wise, could be a shootout.
Oh,
right?
for sure.
So Shaheed could be heavily involved on the deep shots. Could be more than just one. Could be a few.
On the other side, you're going Jalen Hurts, Saquon, and Devontae.
Yep.
I'll let you pick whoever you want to talk about.
Are you going Dallas Goedert?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, on a deeper. I mean, yeah. If you're in a
the tight end position has been
terrible,
not good to start the year.
Terrible.
Foster Moreau for the Saints. He's got a touchdown, I think, in each week.
I'd rather go Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill. I think Taysom got hurt last week.
You're right.
So I'm not sure if he's going to be active this week. I don't know. I haven't looked into that.
I did see. I think he'll be okay.
Okay.
I think he was either limited or did not practice today, but he will be okay from what I read.
Is there anyone else that we didn't mention that we want to maybe highlight in that game?
For me, no. I think that's pretty much everyone. Obviously, A.J. Brown would be if he was playing.
Yep.
So I'm just really pulling up Taysom Hill real quick.
Okay.
He sat out today's practice. He avoids a serious injury, and the Saints are hopeful he can get in the game on Sunday. So
see, I would sit him. Sit him.
Actually, I'm sorry. Hopeful he can get limited work on Thursday.
Okay.
So he might practice.
I mean, if
tomorrow.
he practices at all going into the week or going to the game, then yeah, maybe.
If he practices tomorrow, then that's a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
But
so let's talk really quick. Let's just talk Olave while we're here,
okay,
and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Olave has been a bit of a disappointment to start the year. He had
a solid game against the Cowboys.
4 catches for 81 against the Cowboys, 12, right? But only 6 targets, okay?
Right.
And then week 1, only 2 targets for 11. Is he not the main target for Derek Carr? Could we say that? Is Derek Carr just spreading the ball around a lot? You look at Shaheed, 5 targets, 4 targets.
I think they are spreading the ball around, and even Kamara, Taysom Hill, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, they're all getting the ball. And the crazy thing is, Derek Carr only passed in against the Cowboys 21 times. He had 21 attempts, and then I believe against the Panthers, even then he didn't really have a lot of attempts. I want to say he was again in the 20s, if that even. They have been running the ball pretty well. So that's a big part of their offense right now. I'm
going through all these receivers and tight ends looking for the targets, and all the targets are pretty low.
And I'm trying to find. I'm looking right now real quick to see what Derek Carr's, and you'll probably get it faster than me, how many he had against the Panthers. But point is, they're not throwing the ball a lot. They're just really efficient right now. Like, they're just hitting the big plays. They're scoring on every possession. It's really beautiful right now. I don't know if it maintains for the whole season. You're obviously not going to score 40 every game each season, but Kamara is going to be a good must start every week. That's obvious. He's a top running back. Olave, I think he's going to be another guy who matches up pretty. He also
I'm going to say something here.
I'm
sorry.
No, go ahead.
You can continue with Olave.
I was just going to real quick. Olave went against J.C. Horn and Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon sometimes was on him, sometimes wasn't.
Yep.
So he did have some good. I think the Eagles is going to be easier. I think Slay is overrated in my opinion. I think he's a good corner. He's not a lockdown corner. So I think this week Olave could actually have a really good game.
I'm going to say something here. This is the week that the Saints fall down to earth.
Ooh.
19 for 23, only 23 attempts week 1 for Derek Carr.
Okay.
3 touchdowns, only 200 yards passing.
Okay.
Week 2 against the Cowboys, only 16 attempts. Did they pull him early? They pulled him early, right?
They pulled him early.
16 attempts, 243, 2 touchdowns. So really, him being 1 interception, him being a popular ad is kind of weird to me. I mean, he's got to throw the touchdowns are where the points are coming.
The big plays, and to be honest, too, we said it with the tight ends. Quarterbacks, we're seeing a lower play too. Like the quarterbacks are not playing as well as they should be as well.
Yeah.
So I think he's quarterback 2 on the season so far, and it's not because he's like throwing for 400 yards each game and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's just the quarterback play right now has diminished. And we mentioned it off air.
Yep.
This is the lowest amount of touchdowns we've seen in a long time. It's people are going to have their opinions. It's the preseason. It's early.
Yep.
It's kind of been a thing, and we talked about it too. I think there's just a lot of better defenses. So Derek Carr, while he's not killing it, I think he is worthy of a roster spot, and I think he's a good start this week. But I don't think he maintains it the whole year.
I think the Eagles win this game. I know we're not a prediction type of thing.
You shocked me.
But I think the Eagles win this game.
Wow.
And I think it's not close.
Stand on the throne.
And I think it's not close.
Wow.
I think the Saints finally realize, like, oh, wait. Shit, we're the Saints.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wait.
We can edit
oh,
that.
wait. Shoot, we're the Saints. We're not going to score as many points today.
Mm-hmm.
But Kamara's still going to ball. And Olave is probably going to get his.
Yep. You got to start those guys.
You got to start those guys, but I think it might be the first loss of the season for the Saints.
Wow.
I
mean, I'm curious now.
Wow. Texans, Vikings, C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, you're starting.
Nico Collins. Stephon Diggs.
Let's real quick. Let's have this quick conversation,
Okay.
and we might be able to, because you're starting Aaron Jones, you're starting Justin Jefferson. Sam Darnold might be a sneaky start too. We talked about this with me, you, and Ray.
Yes, we did.
About
who's the odd man out.
Who's the odd man out? Right now, Nico's the clear number one.
Yep, no doubt.
Clear and obvious, and I think we all kind of agreed on that. Like, I think we all said Nico's the most talented. He's the best. He just got the money. He's their number one.
He's the dude. Yep.
I said Tank, which
is the odd man out.
He's the odd man out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Stephon Diggs, though, is very touchdown reliant. If you look at his stats,
yep.
If you take those touchdowns away, he's not doing very well.
Yeah, no, I had Stephon as the odd man out. Remember?
Yeah, I think you guys had Stephon out, and I thought it was Tank. And right now it is Tank, and it's just so weird to me because I really did think, though, it was going to be take turns. Like, this is Nico's game. Now this is Tank's game. Now this is Stephon's game. Like, and even Dalton Schultz is kind of disappearing, too.
Yep. It's all Nico right now.
It is.
It feels like it's all Nico.
And even, this might be a weird take, but hear me out, people. I think C.J. Stroud in this passing game is disappointing to an extent. Now, the Colts should have been a good game. The Colts do not have a great defense by any means. The Bears have a good defense. I like the Bears' defense. But C.J. Stroud in the whole passing offense has not, like, blown me away. And I'm like, oh, my God, they're doing so great. And everyone's praising C.J. Stroud a lot. And, yeah, he's a great young quarterback. But for fantasy purposes, he's not killing it. And it's something that maybe keep an eye on, where if you might be able to get a lot for C.J. Stroud just based off the name.
He has thrown the ball 32 times and then 36 times.
Mm-hmm.
234 and 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 touchdown. If he had better touchdown numbers, I think you would probably be singing a different song.
Possibly, yes.
But
well, I mean, for me too, if I would like my quarterback to get 300 passing yards.
Yeah,
especially if you're not.
But
a runner.
I feel like no one is right now.
But that's
what we were talking about.
You mentioned it. Yeah.
I think it's going to be very interesting to see Week 1 without Joe Mixon, like without him in the game at all.
Is he for sure out though? Because I heard conflicting reports that he might play because he came back in for 1 snap and then he read back out.
Yeah.
So he's not confirmed.
I mean, I guess he's listed as questionable.
Yeah.
He wasn't spotted at practice today.
So he's not confirmed out yet. So, but you're right. If Joe Mixon's out, I do believe they become a much more heavy passing team.
Per Wilson, Mixon is day to day with his ankle injury, and top backup Dameon Pierce is dealing with a mild hamstring strain. The duo status is worth monitoring closely as Sunday's game against the Vikings approaches. See, I thought Mixon was out for sure.
I think he ends up not playing.
I
think we all have that feeling.
I would say he's out, yeah.
But yeah, I know he's not for sure listed out. But you're right. He probably will be listed out. But the Vikings are no joke either. The Vikings are a good defense and just a good team. So
I was trying to not talk about them because of what happened last week.
I don't. Yeah. We don't have to put too much time into them because obviously, from a fantasy standpoint, you're starting Justin Jefferson. You're starting Aaron Jones. Jordan Addison will probably be out. Sam Darnold, probably a decent start. Another stream start if you need it.
Potentially,
he's another guy.
2 QB league, maybe. Yeah.
But I just want to keep the focus on Houston real quick because there's so much hype onto them.
Yep.
Just keep an eye out on this situation still. Like I said, you might be able to get a lot for C.J. Stroud. We need a good Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell game. Tank Dell last week, 1 catch for -3 yards.
I know.
That hurts my heart.
Because
I have him in our league in CBS.
3 rushes for 16 yards as well.
They try to get the ball.
They try to get him the ball.
Receiving yards.
Yes, they try to get him the ball.
Yeah.
Looking at the targets really quick, Tank Dell had 1 more target than Stephon Diggs in Week 1, and the same amount of targets as Stephon Diggs in Week 2. Very interesting.
He's trying to and just watching that Sunday night game, he was just out of tune with Tank.
Diggs?
So,
Stroud.
Yeah, he just could not hit Tank. And he was open, just couldn't hit him.
He's too fast. He's too fast. I love Tank. You know I love Tank. Tank Dell has his own personal chain wear on the sideline.
I love you. When you said that, I died. But I love Tank too. But I just need something. I need him to produce.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, like we said, it's all Nico.
Oh, absolutely.
All Nico all the time. Mm-hmm. Broncos, Buccaneers.
Start your Buccaneers.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, Chris Godwin. You know what's a fun fact?
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Godwin. At least, okay, this is according to our CBS. We do have a little bonus incentive for some plays.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Godwin's wide receiver number 1.
I know, bro. He's killing it.
He is doing incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to be a huge Godwin fan. He had that bad year with Tom Brady. I fell off. I was like, I'm not doing this. He's got to be done. He's resurrected the last 2 years, and now I'm very upset that I don't have any Chris Godwin stock in any of my fantasy leagues. He's been incredible.
Listen to the efficiency. 8 targets, 8 catches, 83 yards, and a touchdown.
And that's the crazy part.
Week 1. Week 2, 8 targets, 7 catches, 117 yards, and a touchdown.
He's just been so incredible.
He's catching everything coming his way.
Yes, and I've always been a Chris Godwin fan. Him and Mike Evans. But you know what I will say? This is for future down the road. Keep an eye on Jalen McMillan. I kind of see Baker. I see Baker trying to get him. Baker's the number 1 fantasy quarterback right now. Chris Godwin's the number 1 fantasy wide receiver right now. You got to roll with these Buccaneers. But Broncos, obviously, Surtain's going to shadow Mike Evans, I believe.
Yeah,
so Chris Godwin should have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, because Godwin's working out of the slot a lot this year again, which is where he kind of thrives.
Yes.
And Surtain probably isn't going to... He's not moving to the slot cornerback position.
And the West Coast team traveling to the east or south in this instance.
Yep.
So it is a bit of a travel. I think the Buccaneers just come out and rope them. And I think you're starting everyone. Mike Evans, you're going to start him, but don't, expect a little...
Baker Mayfield, number 1 overall quarterback?
Baker Mayfield, number 1 fantasy football
185 yards passing and 1 touchdown last game.
Do you remember...
That tells you how poor the quarterback play is right now.
Do you remember how crazy I was about Baker that 1 year in Cleveland when they got Landry Fields?
Yeah. It was Jarvis Landry. Yeah.
Sorry, Landry Fields, random. Jarvis Landry and Odell. I was so excited. I loved Baker, and I gave up on him, and I'm just really glad he's back.
Do you remember when I said Baker Mayfield the top 10 quarterback, and you got pissed at me, and I said he's going to finish higher than Ryan Tannehill or whatever? Yep. And you were like, you're so wrong.
Good
Okay, hang on.
times.
Really quick, staying on the Buccaneers, the Broncos are a mess. I'm so disappointed in the backfield. Javonte, I'm so disappointed. I really don't even know what to do with them. I'm benching all my Broncos that I have stock in.
I have one league I have to start Cortland Sutton just because my options are terrible. I had Puka. I lost him, so I made a trade actually to get Cortland Sutton just because he was one guy I could buy low, and he had targets, so I'm hoping he connects. This actually might be a week for Cortland. I can see him getting some catches. So Cortland might be a sneaky play here in the flex.
It's so tough, man. The Broncos' offense it hurts.
Bo Nix looks good, but it's just gonna take time.
Sure.
He needs more weapons. Offensive line needs to protect better too.
Is Rachaad White better or worse than Bucky Irving? You know my stand.
White. I love Rachaad White. Bucky has definitely played a little better the first 2 weeks.
25 carries for 49 yards in 2 weeks for
even if you
Rachaad White.
And I'm going to back you up on this.
He did have 6 catches for 75 in week 1, which is obviously killer for Rachaad White.
I'm actually going to back you up on this because last year, 272 carries, 990 yards, 3.6 carry. Mm-hmm. And even in his rookie year, he averaged 3.7.
Yeah, he's not a solid yard gainer.
He's not, but what he does is catch out of the backfield, and he's a goal line back too. So last year, Rachaad White was a top 10 fantasy running back.
So wild.
And from a fantasy standpoint, I would take Rachaad White still because of the catches. Now, if you're talking about explosiveness and on the field, Bucky Irving's actually really solid. And I saw Rachaad White is questionable this week. I know he has an injury, but it sounds like he'll probably play. But I know you're a fan of Bucky. I know you want the Bucky Irving train.
I think it's time. Let's go, Bucky.
I know.
Let's go, Bucky.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Put him on the field. Rashad is nursing a groin injury. Yeah. Bucky's going to take over. It's going to happen way earlier than I thought.
You might be right.
I hope.
You might be right.
I hope. Packers Titans, the Malik Willis revenge game.
Love it. I love it. And he did an interview today. I loved what he said. He said, "Why would I be mad at them? They paid me my money. They gave me an opportunity. There's no reason to be mad at them." Love that.
Humble.
Love that. You're starting Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs should have a really good game. Well, actually, I can see this as another defensive game. 13-10 or every time I say defense, I'm going to say 16-10 every time because when I think of defensive game, that's defensive game.
Sure.
There's going to be points, but so it's going to be low scoring. You're not going to see a lot of touchdowns. You got to start Josh Jacobs though on your Packer side. Jayden Reed actually had a solid game last week. Jayden Reed's another guy you could look into starting the flex. I think for the Packers, it's really
Even Romeo Doubs had a decent game last week.
He did, yeah. Romeo Doubs is another one, but
he's a guy. You know what Romeo has become for the Packers? He is a third down converter. It's unbelievable. He's like the third down go-to guy, right past the sticks, catch first down. It's pretty wild.
And I'm gonna support that because I did hear a stat where he probably has the most first down catches, like for first downs.
Yep.
He's up there
this season.
Well, just since last year. Since the beginning of 2020.
Yeah, they look his way on third down, which means he's a sure-handed receiver, which is good, right? And he knows how to find the open holes, right? So
right.
I think Dobbs has really done a great job of becoming that there in Green Bay. Funny stat. I say funny, but it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Willis was 12 for 14, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. It was his first touchdown of his career, by the way.
Yeah.
Which shocked me, actually, because he did start some games in Tennessee.
Right.
They ran the ball 53 times. They ran the ball 39 times more than passing. 32 of those went to Josh Jacobs.
And the Colts still couldn't stop him.
Only 6 of them were runs by Malik, so 47 runs by running backs, or maybe in the rounds by receivers or whatever. But
that's going to be the game plan.
That's going to be the game plan.
As long as they're not down early, the Packers are just going to run the ball.
You start Josh Jacobs with a lot of confidence. A lot of confidence.
This is and I'm going to go to the other side real quick.
Yeah.
Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard has been sneaky good. He's looking like a flex right now, but Pollard has actually been pretty solid. He's not killing it necessarily again, but he's actually been solid. If you're starting him, you're probably pleasantly surprised. And then if you haven't started him, you might be starting him this week with all the injuries and everything going on. So this is actually a solid matchup for him as well. Tajay Spears is a little banged up.
Tajay might not play, yeah.
Yeah, so Tony, this is a good matchup for Tony Pollard as well.
Any wide receivers in Tennessee that you're wanting to start?
Of course, Calvin Ridley.
Okay, yeah.
You got to go Calvin Ridley, of course. He's killed it last week against Sauce Gardner. If you beat Sauce Gardner and you kill the Jets, you're going to start for me no matter what. I don't even care.
Sure. Yeah.
Calvin Ridley's actually balling out. Will Levis always scares you, but...
what does he do? What Will Levis feels like he has to make a big play every single time he drops back.
He needs more mayonnaise.
What was that like?
Oh, man. He killed him for it. The coach killed him for it. Callahan absolutely threw him under the bus for it.
You just got to be smarter than that.
He needs more mayonnaise, man.
Unbelievable.
He needs to inject more mayonnaise. I see you pulled him up. You want to talk about him real quick, or you want to move on from him?
D-Hop?
Is he done?
I don't think he's done. I think he's still not fully healthy. Might be lying about how he feels a little bit in this stage of his career.
Yeah.
And he's attached to Will Levis, who is struggling right now. He can't. Will, at this point in his career, I don't think he can support 2 fantasy wide receivers.
I think I'm giving up on DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
It hurts me. I'm a huge DeAndre Hopkins fan.
Yeah.
I think I'm giving up on him.
One of the guys that wants to be on the pod with us is personal friends with D-Hop, so I got to make sure I don't say too much about D-Hop.
Let's get him on. I love D-Hop. I'm a huge D-Hop fan. I'm always going to keep it real, though. I love D-Hop. D-Hop was one of my favorite receivers growing up.
He was just on my buddy's stream a few weeks back before the season started.
Well, I guess not growing up, but in my 20s.
Yeah. We're old now.
I know. I keep forgetting that. I always want to say when I grew up, but
you know what?
D-Hop was one of my favorite receivers in my 20s.
I still think D-Hop. I just, like I said, I don't think he's as healthy as he says he is right now. And I think in a few weeks, we'll see a healthier, better DeAndre Hopkins and hopefully a better, more improved Will Levis by then. And if he doesn't, he might get the Bryce Young treatment. You know what I mean? I'm not sure how long his leash is. They have Mason Rudolph there.
I was gonna say it can't be too long, and he's been terrible. But yeah, he might be right. You might be seeing a couple more games of Will Levis. I think if they don't win this game, I think you're gonna start hearing the murmurs of Mason Rudolph.
19 for 32, 127 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. 19 of 28, 192 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
The percentage wasn't bad against the Jets.
Right.
67%. That's actually pretty good. 68, really.
Yeah.
So he had a decent game because he just made a couple bad decisions. And that's the problem. He's got to stop making these bad decisions.
He's just got to mature. He's got to mature a little bit.
That's the difference.
Where we at? Bears and Colts. Okay.
Oh, here we go. I already know where we're going with this.
Okay.
Go ahead. Take the floor. Go ahead.
You know what? I told you guys, I'm not really going to go public with my AR5 shade. I told you guys.
So it might be one of those scenarios too where it indoor versus outdoor game. Like now they're back indoor, but the Bears are a very good defense. I think Anthony Richardson still has a solid game. You still got to start him. You drafted him as a starter.
At what point? Let me ask you this: This is week 3 now. Week 1, he had a good fantasy week because of his legs.
Right.
Thank God.
With the deep ball too.
Yeah, the deep ball too. Right. He can run and throw a deep ball. That's what I say.
Right.
How many more weeks? If let's say he compiles 2 more consecutive weeks like week 2, at what point are you like, oh man, I don't know if I can start Richardson anymore?
For fantasy
or fantasy?
Okay.
For fantasy, not real life. The Colts.
Yeah.
He's their guy for a while. Yeah.
The problem is you invested in him as your starter, and you took him relatively early. Now, if you want to get crazy and go Baker Mayfield over Anthony Richardson, that conversation we could possibly have
for this week. With this matchup, and with Baker's matchup, matchup based.
Yeah, I think I'd go Baker over Anthony Richardson this week. And you know how much I love Anthony Richardson. So I'm always going to keep it honest. I'm always going to be real.
Yeah.
I'm trying to stick behind him. Because here's the thing. I see him make some throws, and they're not bad. I'm like, that's an NFL throw. He just needs to be a little more accurate on some of them. And then there's just some decisions where, or even throws where it's just terrible. And I'm trying to say, he's young. He's only 21. Mm-hmm. He's still going to get over those things. But at some point, you got to start being a little more consistent, and you got to be better. You can't have your best game so far be 50% completion percentage.
Yeah, and he threw 3 interceptions in that game as well.
It was a terrible
1
game.
1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, 50% completion, 204 yards. You know what, though? I want to look up how many drop passes the Colts wide receivers had this past week.
There were some drops.
There were some drops. That was it reminded me of the Chiefs from last year.
There was, yeah, so
I think his completion percentage would have been better.
And it would. And so that's the thing. I see him make some throws. And that's what I'm talking about. Like he throws some out routes, some beautiful out routes, some corner routes, some middle of the field throws. He's making solid reads and solid throws. It's just he's just not quite there yet.
I just don't. I'm not again. I'm trying to not go public because I'm pretty strong in the text about him.
Oh, you are killing him.
I don't believe in his throwing ability, and I'm not sure it's ever going to get there.
Yeah, I got you. I'm going to look it up real quick.
I'm trying to find the drops, how many drops I had.
Let me see. Hopefully this isn't 2023. 2024. So the Colts, they say they've only had 1 drop pass this year. That's
gotta be outdated or something.
Well, no, it says 2024, and it says the Browns have had 10. So here's what I think they need to do with Anthony Richardson. Mm-hmm. They need to turn around and give the ball to 28 a lot more. Richardson throwing the ball 34 times, you're not going to win that. Do you know how infuriating it was when I called him my boom last week, and I'm watching Jonathan Taylor rip off 10, 15, 20-yard runs, and he doesn't score a touchdown? Oh, it was so infuriating. Jonathan Taylor, this is a running team. That's the thing, too. 12 carries is not enough.
Anthony Richardson threw the ball 34 times.
It's too much.
And they ran the ball 12 for 103 with Jonathan Taylor. And you throw the ball 22 more times?
Their formula needs to be more like the Saints. And I don't know what Shane Steichen's doing. He needs to start running. He needs to create play. And that's the one thing I don't see in this Colts offense yet, is they're not creating run plays for Anthony Richardson as consistently as I would like. I've seen 1, maybe 2 in each game. That's not enough.
They're trying to protect him.
I understand that, but you got to tell him to slide. You got to tell him to slide.
You just got to not throw the ball as much with
Yes.
him. He's not there yet.
Right.
He's not a great passer yet.
No. Real quick, Bears are frustrated. I mean,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
going to
we
start
didn't
DJ
talk
Moore,
Bears.
Payne out, but you're going to start them. You got to start them. They're frustrating. Be patient with Caleb Williams. He shows some in that first half. He played really well,
You can't judge the last game on him.
and then that second half, he just kind of
can't.
sacked so many times. He had 7 sacks against
Bro,
him.
they were not protecting him.
No,
I mean, and throughout the game, I was impressed with how quickly he was getting up. I was like, okay, he's getting up. He's not getting upset with the O-line. Like, he's staying composed. Like, okay, I see you, Caleb.
You saw DJ Moore get frustrated, though.
Yes. And then toward the end of the game, Caleb starts getting up a lot slower.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting real tired. He's starting to look around like, what are these guys doing,
He's
right?
getting beat up.
And I was just like, you can't judge Caleb Williams on this game at all.
It's hard because he is going to struggle. And no Keenan Allen. Roma Dunze is hurt. I'm surprised. I want to see more Cole Kmet, though. Cole Kmet was solid last year.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with him.
He had a decent game for a tight end this past week, but I need to see more.
Yeah, DJ Moore got visibly upset with our guy, Caleb, for sure.
They're getting open.
But
he needs a little more time.
He needs a little bit more time, and you know, when you get hit as much as he was, those feet get nervous. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you claim you don't get nervous like you did on Hard Knocks.
Right.
You're going to get, dude, these big dudes are barreling down. They're hitting you. They're landing on top of you. You're going to get a little bit nervous. Your feet are going to get a little bit out of whack, and your throws aren't going to be as crisp. And the result is an upset wide receiver.
1,000%.
In game. But you know what? It's unless everyone takes the formula of what Houston did against Chicago, which they honestly should.
Right.
I don't know if he's going to get blitzed that much, but they brought the blitz like it felt like almost every play. And they were getting through with just rushing 5, right? And it's like, whoa.
And there was plays where Will Anderson didn't even get blocked.
I know. Will Anderson. How are you not blocking?
The best rusher on the Texans,
It's crazy when you see games like that.
Yeah.
You're like, is this an NFL coach team?
It's so frustrating.
What is this?
Because you want to back them, and it's like,
Yeah. Also, terrible challenges. They challenged some plays that I was like,
both of them.
This is so obvious.
You challenged both of them, and it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Bad. Anyway, sorry, Coach. I'm sure you're a great guy.
Might be gone at the end of the year, though.
Going from bad coaching to good coaching, Chargers Steelers. Staley's gone in L.A., and holy hell, are they a good team? They've been a good team. They had a terrible coach.
I think they're going to be competitive. The good defense. They're going to run the ball. I don't think this lasts the whole season. J.K. Dobbins, obviously the RB to start in L.A. This is another one that, 16-10. I'm actually going to start 13-10 because I think 3 field goals is too much. 3 field goals is like you're getting down there, actually. We're going to go 13-10 as my defensive game, and my defensive scores now. 13-10. This one's kind of an interesting one on who you're playing, who you're not.
I love this.
J.K. All the guys on both sides of the ball. I think the only one that you're for sure starting is George Pickens. Everyone else is kind of like a
interesting. Really?
J.K. Dobbins you're starting in the flex.
Yep.
I think you're
Wait,
for sure
in the flex.
Well, maybe RB2. You drafted him to maybe play in the flex. You drafted J.K. Dobbins, maybe not even to play him.
Sure, right.
Just to see the potential. But now you have to play him at this point.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting because I just don't think they can keep this up. And I want to be behind the J.K. Dobbins bandwagon because he was so well talented and all the injuries just killed him. And I really hope he stays healthy. It just scares me a little bit. So I'm kind of like behind it, driving behind it and waiting to jump on it. But, that's
he does this every year, JK.
Mm-hmm.
Every year he's healthy. He usually, honestly, I knock on anything that could be wood. I think it's usually after week 2 that he gets that real bad injury. So,
oh God, oh my gosh,
knock on anything.
If JK gets hurt, I'm texting you so fast.
10 for 135 and a touchdown week 1.
Mm-hmm.
17 for 137 and a touchdown week 2.
He's killing it.
Ridiculous. The Steelers have not scored a touchdown yet. They're 2-0. Not scored a touchdown. And they're 2-0.
The Steelers?
The Steelers.
They did. They scored a touchdown. Justin Fields threw one.
An offensive touchdown?
Yeah, Justin Fields threw one to
this past week?
the tight end, yeah.
Oh,
they
to
didn't score in week
Freiermuth?
1.
Freiermuth?
Yeah. No. It wasn't Freiermuth. It was Darnell Washington.
Oh, it was Darnell.
Yeah.
It was Darnell.
J.K. Dobbins, RB4, by the way. I just wanted to look that up.
Yeah.
RB4.
Stud.
So he's killing it. You got to start him. I'm just hoping it's for the long haul. I hope I'm wrong on that. I'm not buying into it. But
I'm looking at the spread really quick. I know we're not betting. Chargers at plus 1.5 and over under 36.5.
Yep.
I'm taking Chargers. I'm taking Chargers money line. I don't even need the 1.5. They're gonna win the game.
Really?
They're gonna win the game.
I think I'm on the Steelers.
Wow.
I think I'm on the Steelers this week.
Wow. Okay, Pickens, you start. I think you start Freiermuth at tight end because where you drafted him, you're probably having to start him. The tight end position's been terrible. I mean, even if you picked up Isaiah Likely, he did nothing last week.
True.
Right? So it's like
I know.
You just got to roll him out there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think you start Freiermuth. I think you definitely start Dobbins. You start Najee.
Like, if you drafted Najee and J.K. Dobbins on the same team, you're obviously drafting J.K. Dobbins.
Sure. Yep.
I want to say no, you're not starting Najee unless you're desperate. Unless you have those injuries. Unless you're forced to.
See, and Najee is an opportunity person, like
Yes.
Ramondre Stevenson.
He's gonna.
He
get
just
the carries,
hasn't gone. He hasn't looked as good as Ramondre.
But it's a tough matchup this week too.
I'm trying to find the freaking stat that says the Steelers got a touchdown. I remember seeing it, and I'm just like, was that a 2-point conversion?
No, it was Darnell Washington.
I know who Darnell Washington is, bruh.
I'm gonna look it up. Who they played who they played last week? The Broncos, right?
The Panthers.
The Steelers?
Yep, you're right. You're right. The Broncos.
I was like, wait a minute.
The Broncos.
Yeah. So final here. Let's go. Here we go.
Chargers.
Justin Fields, 1 touchdown.
All right, my bad.
Darnell Washington, 5-yard pass.
Yeah,
now.
My bad. I know. I saw the play.
Come on, bruh.
I saw the play. How about this? Listen to this. How about Gus the Bus? He had 18 carries last game, more than J.K. Dobbins.
Mm-hmm.
He had 11 carries the first game. Does he get a lot of opportunity again here this week? This is a game that I think the Chargers actually run away with. That's kind of crazy.
Really?
Yeah, so there's 2 shock. Those are the 2 shock. Whatever the other one was I said earlier.
The Saints?
The Eagles.
The Saints lose.
I think I'm I'm going to go strong this weekend on Eagles and Chargers.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna say you're crazy for this Chargers one. I'm definitely gonna say you're crazy for the Eagles, because they're both. You're looking at mirror images of each other almost. Justin Herbert's clearly the better quarterback, but he's banged up too. Mm-hmm. So, wow, I think it's gonna be a very close matchup the whole time. You know, decided by 3 points at the end.
Josh Palmer didn't practice today.
Mm-hmm.
Lad McConkey's been basically non-existent. He's droppable, I think.
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston, I picked him up in our Yahoo league.
Good pick.
He had 2 touchdowns last week.
I think he could come into his own. I think we're going to start seeing something out of Quentin Johnston. That's actually a good pickup. I wanted to. I just didn't have the guts to do it.
Is he a start this week? Who do you...
maybe not this week.
If you pick him up, who are you starting him over? What guys are you starting him over? Terry McLaurin?
Oh, man. Who's watching the play off the top of my head? I'm blanking on it. Oh, they played the Bengals.
The Bengals, yep.
I go Terry.
Okay. Deontay Johnson with a new quarterback.
Oh, I do like Andy Dalton though for fantasy, but hopefully we get to that.
Yep.
I think I go Deontay.
Okay.
As crazy as that. That's so hard.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Let me give you. I'd like to go 1 or 2 more guys. How about Greg Dortch, Arizona?
I'll go Quentin Johnston on that one.
Okay.
Just because I think his ceiling is higher.
Okay. Zay Flowers.
Oh my god.
And then I got one more name.
You gotta go against my Cowboys, huh? I'm going Zay.
Christian Kirk.
Oh my god. Why you gotta hit me in the heart like that? Why don't you just...
I meant to text you the group chat and be like, thank you guys so much for Christian Kirk.
You did. You did text us that.
This week?
We just ignored it.
Oh, I did? Okay, yeah.
Because we were both so wrong on that.
Of course, you guys
We both just ignored it. We're like, he's right, but I'm not going to acknowledge it.
Quentin Johnson or Christian Kirk to start this week?
Christian Kirk has been so bad.
Yeah.
I'd probably go Quentin Johnston just because of how bad Kirk has been.
Yep, and I think a team that I picked up Johnson, and I have Kirk, and I'm starting him over Kirk.
Well, Kirk and Trevor Lawrence, how bad they've both been, so sorry.
Yeah. All right, thanks for watching Watch the Throne and listening. Whatever you're doing, if you're driving, you don't have us on video. I mean, you have to, though, because that's the only way they can listen.
This is true, yes.
We got to get on Spotify. Got to get on Spotify.
Yep.
We got to get on Apple Music.
Yep.
That's me slacking. I wanted us to prove it, that we could do it. We're on episode 7 now, so I guess I should probably do it. We should make social media for people to follow. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That was part 1 of the Week 3 matchup previews. Part 2 we will have out tomorrow. Until next time.
Until next week. Appreciate you guys. Look at this. This is a W, by the way, for Watch the Throne. This is what I'm doing. Watch the Throne.